Thank you all so much for being here. I know that you have been in position for a little while now in preparation for this press conference, and I know it's chilly this morning. I appreciate that, just giving you that acknowledgement because it does matter. Here this morning with my CAO, Gilbert Montano, joined by Deputy CAO Ramsey Green, Emily Wolf, who is Director of the Mayor's Office of Youth and Families. We have Dr. Gabriel Morley. Where's Gabe? Okay. Morley, who is on his way with the New Orleans Public Libraries. Christy Gibbons, who is the owner of a child care center right here in our community. Gretchen Bradford, Pontilly Community Leader. Thank you, Ms. Gretchen, always. Yvonne Martin, who is a recipient of our soft second mortgage program when we talk about home ownership in the city of New Orleans, as well as Alexis Ruiz, who is the proprietor of the Munch Factory, again, 2 locations in the city of New Orleans, but absolutely at Joe Bart. So thank you all so much for being here with us this morning for a very important cause. And it's about what's on the ballot on tomorrow, December the 5th, Saturday. It is election day, but it's about the future of the city of New Orleans. One, understanding that as we came into COVID-19, we were hit definitely at a deficit. And absolutely, as we're in the midst of still dealing with COVID-19 and focusing on the recovery of the city of New Orleans, I don't know what's going on over there, but we're going to get that straight. He's been trying to get it going. It's been a work in progress. We appreciate that. It is about maintenance around here, but he's having an issue with his truck this morning. Okay, he's helping us out a little bit. Thank you. And understanding the balance. And as I was saying, the election on tomorrow, we have a real opportunity to ensure that the recovery of this city coming out of this pandemic is on good footing and on a safe fiscal track and a viable track for the recovery of the city of New Orleans. We're here at a $15.6 million Pontilly Stormwater project where there are 3 examples really of successful infrastructure and community investments that meet together. The Pontilly Stormwater Management Project, as I mentioned, Pontchartrain Park, a Nord Park that we know that is a valuable asset to our community, and of course, Joe Bart Municipal Golf Course. All of these projects are tied to the future of the city of New Orleans and our ability and the need to maintain and ensure their viability and sustainability for years to come. This project extends from Stephen Girard Avenue to Southern University at New Orleans. It includes bioswales, rain gardens, and pervious surfacing. These are all critical as we learn to live better with storm water and manage that storm water, keeping it from going into our drains and allowing our city to drain at a capacity that is not only equitable, but that keeps our families, our homes, our properties safe. This project will store up to 8.9 million gallons of storm water and reduce, again, flooding as much as 14 inches during a 10-year rain event. You know better than me how we brace for rain events in the city of New Orleans, as well as the need to improve our infrastructure, and that has been a top priority for my administration, getting things done. Recently, crews completed greenway alleyways. If you haven't seen them in the area, you really need to stop. As you drove in, hopefully you did capture them. But again, meeting people where they are, addressing infrastructure for long-term viability and sustainability in our city. Stormwater lots and semi-permeable pavers were recently added also to SUNO. Now, the construction began on this project, as I've given you an overview, in March of 2019. It's about 90% complete, and we expect to cut that ribbon officially on next month. Progress, completion next month. Moving forward, we have to make sure that we have a plan to maintain all of the infrastructure investments that we have made over time. So not just in the past 2 years, we're talking about over 1.5 billion of infrastructure improvements that have happened in the post-Katrina environment that the city does not have an annual funding source and stream to ensure annual maintenance. That is essential and it's critical at this time in order to, again, maintain what we've already done. So tomorrow offers voters a real opportunity to invest in our future like we have never done before, and the time is right now. There are 3 millages that will reallocate existing resources that have proven to have been restructured. It is a renewal, and it comes as a tax decrease to our property owners starting January of 2021. As I have said, all of the challenges that I've had to face as mayor in a short period of time, 2.5 years, have been picking up those cans that have been kicked down for decades. We can no longer kick the can. It has been a priority for me and my leadership team to face challenges in order to fix them. And no, they're not sexy. No, they're not. But they are critical to the viability and sustainability of the city of New Orleans. So we can no longer kick the can down. And I said, hey, I'm going to pick them on up. So these are 3 critical propositions that are on the ballot. And as we think about not only combating COVID-19, we have to always think about the recovery that will come along with it. So Proposition 1, infrastructure and maintenance, very critical. Repairing existing roads, streets, bridges, drainage lines, facilities, all public facilities, police stations, fire stations, community centers, North centers, libraries, you name it. This is, again, we need to maintain what we've already invested in. The second proposition, Proposition 2, early care and education, and absolutely ensuring that our libraries continue to serve and be as robust as they've always been, but ensuring again that the programming is more efficient and aligned with the needs in our community and our people on the ground. So this will also be a historic opportunity to create dedicated recurring funding for early care and early childhood education in the city of New Orleans. And at a time when 43% of our children are living in families and in households that are at or below the poverty rate in our city. 25% of the people in our city are living at or below the poverty rate. The national average is 14%. So again, we can no longer overlook the existing conditions and challenges that we're faced with as a city. However, we have a historic opportunity to do something about it. And it also allows us to grow the pot towards early childhood education by leveraging our investments here with the state dollars for early care. This is our time. In addition to that, when 70% of our third graders right now cannot read at third grade level, we have work to do. And the gap starts from early care, whether or not a child has access to it or they do not. And I'm going to give you another little stat. 78% of our children who are Caucasian in our community are reaching mastery or above in reading. That's huge. While 25% of our black and brown students, and actually our African American students, are at 25%, and our Latino and Hispanic students are at 19%, with that same mastery or above. This is critical. We can no longer wait. because the future of our city is at stake. Proposition 3, housing and economic development. Again, coming into this, even COVID at a deficit, but it's only been exacerbated by this pandemic. Over 44,000 of our people are currently unemployed, and that number has grown. Small businesses in our community have been hit hard. We know that every single week, hundreds are being denied unemployment benefits. So the fiscal challenges and the fiscal crisis, it's here and it's right now, and we can no longer wait. Also, when we know that we have been dependent upon heavily for decades in our city on hospitality and tourism, it is our time and our obligation to diversify our economy, pivot our people into other growth sectors that are really attached to where we are right now, in ways that they can be on a career path, that they can build wealth, and we can finally take a cut out of the wealth gap that has only increased post-Katrina. It has not decreased at all. So we have challenges, but we also have solutions. And the solution is a renewal package that has been restructured and is aligned with our fiscally prudent activity that my administration has put forward to ensure that we stay on a path that will make certain that we come through recovery as strong as we possibly can. And it is all tied to the economic viability of our city and the affordability. And right here in this community, next year early, because it's already started, Nora, we will be building 17 new homes in this community, and they will be made available to families in our city at an affordable rate. And that's why the Soft Second program is so vitally important. Again, the time is now. Things have been restructured. This is a renewal, and there will be a tax reduction that is attached to it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gilbert Montano, my CAO, who has been boots on the ground with me from day one, and who is tried and true as we have been nonstop facing issues in our city in order to fix them for the long haul that will live beyond our leadership. So thank you again. Where is my mask? And Gilbert, you can come on up.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your courage. These choices that we make and that we discuss on a day-to-day basis, inside or outside of the office, are often difficult, sometimes unpopular. But I think courage and leadership really demonstrates at its highest level when you're willing to face those situations head on, because you know at the end of the day and for the long term, it's what's going to matter most for the longevity of our city. I'll be brief, frankly, because I think the mayor covered it so eloquently. The millage package is by design. It's not arbitrary. It's not without plan. It's not without thoughtfulness. It is an agile plan, however, and we had to really refocus based on COVID, as every small business organization did as a result of what we're currently facing. And that is the holistic package that we're trying to really advocate and educate those that are listening on. We can't just look at one single piece when you operate and run a city of this size and of this great need. You have to look holistically. You can't just look at these short periods of time on trying to manipulate in a way that things are going to stay the same. Staying the same is just not an option. I think we've learned that more and more every single day since the nuance of COVID. Everyone has adjusted, and government has to as well. If we were to continue to do things exactly as they were 20 years ago, our outcome would be very different unless we had the foresight to try to understand where we think we should be ending up when these times are at their greatest needs. One of matters I'll comment on before I turn it over to Ramsey is that the package, as described, gives us as an administration the tools necessary to serve the residents. And I think that's an important piece because there's a lot of discussion outside there, and frankly some misinformation that is saying otherwise, that we should wait or that we can go back to start. Every single day we spend hours and hours trying to figure out and design a way to manage the city so that our children can have the opportunities that many of us have had. And that's the intention of these millages. It's an important piece. It's the tools necessary that we need to be able to run and function government at a high level. And we ask and for you to be educated on that fact and appreciate the support. It did not happen overnight, and it will continue to benefit for the longevity of our families. Thank you again, Mayor. We have your back. We know these situations are difficult. We do this as an administration. It's not one person. There's a lot of thought that goes into all these dynamics, and we know it's from the right place and for the long-term benefit of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Gilbert. Really, the reason we're standing here right now is this is a perfect example of the infrastructure that the city is building, the future of the city in terms of economic development, and just frankly a really great neighborhood here in Pontchartrain Park. If you look around, you'll notice that it looks like there's a dry river behind us. It's built that way. As the mayor said, it's going to be we're going to cut the ribbon on it in the first quarter of 2021. This is the Pontelli Stormwater Network. Around, you'll see bump outs into the sidewalk, from the sidewalks into the streets. But what happens in a major rain event, like last night, middle of the night, these things fill up with water in the streets and the houses don't. And what we need are people who can build these things, who can design this kind of work, and that's everything from somebody who knows horticulture, who can maintain the muhly grass and the Louisiana irises that suck up water rather than us having to pump it over the levee system into Lake Pontchartrain. Soil scientists who can design what kind of soil we need to suck this water up and to make it so our streets and our homes are drier. We also have a playground right behind us. We have the Joe Bart Golf Course, which is federal funds, an over $10 million project. The city does not have a dedicated maintenance fund. We are using federal money to build things. When Mayor Cantrell came into office May 7th of 2018, there was over $2+ billion of federal money that essentially had been sitting unspent. That was a management problem. That was not a resource problem. There were plenty of resources. The management needed to figure out a way to get that money moving. And thankfully we are now. And by the end of 2020, we will have put into the city over $500 million worth of street subsurface and vertical infrastructure money alone. We need the funds to maintain that. And that is where this moment, as you look out, you have to think about what is this going to look like in a year? What is this going to look like in 2 years? And to the Pontchartrain Park community, I think they want this to look really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Emily.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Wolf. I'm the Director of the Mayor's Office of Youth and Families. We're here today in a community that really illustrates how each proposition that's on the ballot that the Mayor described intersects to create strong neighborhoods. And you're going to hear from many people today about the power of resilient infrastructure, about small business support, about quality early learning, dynamic libraries, and access to affordable housing. These are our key ingredients, the things that help us to build and sustain strong communities in our city. One of the goals that Mayor Cantrell had when she set up the Office of Youth and Families 2.5 years ago was to be able to secure long-term dedicated funding for children. The challenges that our children are facing in this city, in a city where we have upwards of 40% of our children living in poverty, cannot be solved in a single term. And we are going to need long-term devoted resources to be able to set our children up for long-term success. We've heard our community come out into the streets this summer and talk about more investments in children and in social justice. And Proposition 2 is on the ballot tomorrow, and it's a big step forward in that effort. With this investment, low-income children in our city will get a head start on their education. Our teachers will be able to be paid a living wage, and parents will be freed up to participate in the economy. So this is a win-win all around. Proposition 2 will also enable us to invest $30 million over the course of the next 20 years in early education, and it'll allow us to be first in line to receive state matching dollars for early education. So we'll be able to do more with the local investment that we're making. Proposition 2 will also enable us to sustain appropriate funding for our library system. We know how important our libraries are as pillars of our community. Our mayor knows this firsthand for the work that she did in the Broadmoor community, rebuilding the Rosa F. Keller Library and Community Center. We are so excited to build a library system for the future, for the 21st century, that incorporates data-driven decision-making, technology, and collaboration with other city agencies in order to ensure that our libraries are responsive to the public's needs. So with that, I urge voters to go to the polls tomorrow. These local elections have major impacts on our everyday lives as citizens of this city. And so with that, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Gabriel Morley, who's the head of the New Orleans Public Library.
Woo, turn up the heat. Man, I'm freezing. All right, my name's Gabriel Morley. I am the library director. More than 100,000 people visit a library in the city of New Orleans every month. That's more than 1.5 million people a year. They check out more than 200,000 items a month. 40,000 people a month depend on our internet access at all 15 of our libraries. We're committed to all of those, and those are the kinds of services we provide with the property taxes we get, like Proposition 2. Now, in the coming years, we know we want to work more closely with the city to enhance early learning and early literacy. This is a big challenge. It's a challenge nationwide. As the mayor said, we can't keep kicking the can down the road. We've done that before, and if you look 20 years into the future, based on the 39% of adults today who are illiterate, the future doesn't look good unless we do something. If we want to end this systemic tide of illiteracy and poverty and these other social problems, we need to take action. We need to start investing our resources in those areas where we know we can have an impact. Early learning is one of those areas. The library has an early learning literacy librarian who visits schools and child care centers on a daily basis. Pre-COVID, we did 22 story times a week at all 15 locations throughout the city. We do bilingual story times in English and Spanish, and we've moved those programs online since this COVID pandemic has come about. So don't forget tomorrow to vote. It's an important day. It's important for the future of our city. I'm going to turn it back over to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morley. And we're now going to hear from Christy Givens, who is the owner of Kids of Excellence Early Childhood Development Center right here in our community.
Good morning. I'm honored to speak with you today. My name is Christy Givens. I'm a veteran educator with over 21 years of experience in the early childhood industry. I'm the proud owner and executive director of Kids of Excellence Child Development Centers, located in the Bywater area in a desired neighborhood. Advocating for equal access to quality education for all children is very personal to me. Like 84% of the families in New Orleans, as a mother of 3, a graduate school student, and a full-time parent, I faced the challenges finding affordable and quality childcare with my kids when I was young. I was faced with 2 options: provide childcare or provide food and shelter, and I chose the latter. My children did not attend a high-quality childcare center. I paid family and friends to babysit them, and I risked the possibilities of losing my job and flunking out of school each day when I could not afford the help. Many families are faced every day with the challenges, and families should not have to choose. I truly hope there was a City Seats program 30 years ago that could have helped me and place my children in a high quality child care program. As a result, 30 years later, the City Seats program is helping high quality child care centers by providing additional funding to early childhood care. At Kids of Excellence, we use this funding to lower student teacher ratio, such as we have 4 students to 1 teacher with only 8 children in a classroom. We provide livable wages to our staff with benefits. And teachers provide the opportunity to attend child care programs where teachers acquire CDAs, associate's degrees, and also bachelor's degrees in early childhood education. We have a retention rate of 90%, meaning our staff stay. We proudly can share that 50% of our staff have been employed over 10 years or more with Kids of Excellence. My staff are remarkable women. They've come to work each day. They work with passion and help ensure every child is ready for school. They provide emotional, social, academic, and physical development. Our parents often share how grateful they are for the City Seats program. Because of City Seats program, they wake up every day excited to drop their children off to our center, as they know their children are being loved, respected, given nutrition meals, given screenings for speech and hearing, and having individual plans prepared to cater to their child's needs. They also receive resources to inspire their children learning through play and building brain development at home, as well as to help them establish the foundation of future learning. We have so many personal stories from our parents due to the City Seats program. For example, one of our waiting list parents will offer a City Seats slot. This has now allowed her to attend nursing school 5 days a week. Her child she's happy because she knows her child is in a safe and high quality program. Another parent will be graduating for cosmetology school this fall with the hopes of one day owning her own beauty salon. This would not be possible without the City Seats funding. This funding has not only allowed these families financially provide for their families, but is directly contributed to the New Orleans workforce. This proposal bill can positively impact our communities and thousands of families in the next 20 years. So these families do not have to make the difficult decision of choosing, as necessity and education both matters. The bottom line is that families should have equal access for their children to high quality child care programs to increase their brain development and help them establish the foundation for future learning. And they should have the opportunity to experience positive interactions that aid in making impactful attachments to establish successful relationships. I thank you, Mayor Contrell and City Council, for fulfilling your promise to commit funding to the City Seats program. Your funding allows children to receive high quality education and families to provide for their families for working or enrolling into an education program. This program model is very innovative and can become a benchmark for the state of Louisiana to help support child care centers, children, and families throughout our state. So I end with this. Please vote yes to Proposition 2 on Saturday. Providing your children with high quality early education is something we have been working toward for years, and exciting to finally have a chance to dedicate funding. It's on the ballot for the next 20 years. Thank you very much.
You can't make it up. We're going to keep it going with Miss Gretchen Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, everyone. First of all, I just want to say that I am president of Pontchartrain Park Neighborhood Association, and we are reaping many of the benefits as it relates to infrastructure. As you can see, we have this beautiful bioswale to help us with water management, also the golf course, and we got street repairs that's currently going on. All these projects that are going on, the money is going to be used to help maintain it, and it's important to us. Pontchartrain Park has been designated as a historic district, and that's a part of it, to keeping it beautiful and keeping it managed with the streets and all the wonderful things that the city is doing. In addition, I just would like to say that we are starting a housing program with the City of New Orleans, NORA. It's going to help reduce some of the blight with some of the empty lots and abandoned lots that's here in Pontchartrain Park. So the funding in Proposition 3 will assist with that. We are in Pontchartrain Park, one of the highlighted neighborhoods. We're proud of some of the things that has happened back here with the city, and I just want to say that I'm voting yes. I'm voting yes to Proposition 1. I'm voting yes to Proposition 2, and I'm voting yes to Proposition 3 because these funds are needed. I want to thank the mayor for investing in our communities, and I just thankful for the people of Pontchartrain Park, and I appreciate this opportunity to speak before you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to now turn to Ms. Yvonne Martin, who is one of our recipients of the South Second Mortgage Program that I talked about earlier. And I just want to say thank you so much, Ms. Yvonne.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wanted to come here and just speak on my experience with the South Second Mortgage Program. Thank you again, Madam Mayor, for pushing opportunities like this. As an individual living in the city of New Orleans and being a renter for so long, due to COVID, you really don't realize how much of your income is going into paying fees for rent and things like that. Providing opportunities such as home ownership is a very big deal for us here in the city. Majority of our homes are building generational wealth. I want to be a part of that opportunity. I know a couple of years ago when I was interested in this program, it wasn't available. And I don't want to see that situation go towards any other family members here in the city who would like to invest in building generational wealth for their family. This program allowed me to be the first-time home buyer of my family. So I would like to see other individuals in the city to be able to become a first-time homeowner, building generational wealth for their family, and also being able to not be so much in debt for its rental assistance, things of that nature. So building generational wealth for your family, changing the history of your family is just as very important. This Proposition 3 program is very important to the city. I don't want to see this opportunity to lose out on any opportunities for family members to be a part of this. If this proposition doesn't pass, I feel as though that programs like the second homeowner program will go away. And I don't want to see this. I would like to see a lot of individuals to see this program pass, see this program funding continue. So we want to make sure that more families are able to be a part of this opportunity to build generational wealth in the future.
That, and you can't make it up. And finally, we're going to hear from our proprietor of the Munch Factory, Miss Alexis Ruiz.
Hi, thank you, Madam Mayor, for having me here. We have a restaurant literally right up the street on Congress Drive in the beautiful golf course, and COVID-19 has been extremely difficult for our restaurant. We've had to make a lot of really hard decisions, and one thing I can say from her days as council member for me, she's always been down for the small businesses, and it's so critical now more than ever, especially in a city like New Orleans that's really built off of our small businesses, that we really continue to get the support that we've had and that we will need now, like, again, more than ever. I know I can speak for a lot of small businesses when I say your support as a city is critical to us, but also to have the support from the government level is going to be so critical for us moving forward, for us to maintain the jobs, for us to increase living wages and to just kind of get us out of this. So this isn't just for now. This is kind of for a long time from now. And personally, I have definitely benefited from being able to access help from the city. It's been monumental to the success of our restaurant. We had to end up closing one of our locations, and going forward, we would love to be able to open back up in other capacities. Who knows? There could be a munch in every neighborhood. And having programs like this can definitely help to promote businesses and our growth and expansion. So thank you for having us here. I hope that all of you guys take the time to really understand that this is critical for the future of this city that we all love so much. Thank you.
I didn't realize your uptown location, you had to close due to COVID, so it's real, we're living it. So that completes our message here this morning as we are faced with a very critical election on tomorrow, December 5th, which is tomorrow, which is Saturday. So thank you again. All right, Mr. Tanya.
Madam Mayor, can you clarify one point for us? I think at least some quotes attributed to you indicated that if these propositions fail, there's the possibility of layoffs next year. Is that true? And conversely, if they pass, will you be able to ease some of the furloughs?
Well, first of all, as it relates to a comment I believe you may have seen in the headline of the Advocate, who said that Cantrell threatens. I do not make threats at all. And when I talked to the public last night, I said that I am not making a threat as it relates to the fiscal challenges that we face. They are real. And so, if in fact the propositions do fail, what it does mean is that we will have to fill a gap of $23 to $25 million in the 2021 budget that was recently adopted. That is a fact. These propositions are built into our 2021 budget. So clearly, if they don't pass, I have to figure out how to fill that gap, which could be done by way of moving from furloughs to layoffs. You have to capture the savings somewhere. That is not our intent. Not one layoff has been built into the 2021 budget, again, being very surgical in our approach and not wanting to add more of our residents on the unemployment insurance benefit line or program. So we will have to fill a gap, no doubt about it. 23 to 25 million. Where that comes from, we'll have to look. But absolutely, when you think about all departments, all that we do, and also where the cuts be made, and really not wanting to turn to public safety at all, we have to look at it. So that is not a threat. That is a reality. And it is aligned with the decision that we had to make for 2020, which we had a $50 million deficit this year. And we had to move towards furloughs in order to fill that gap. So right now, it is not, meaning layoffs are not built into 2021, but that is tied to this millage proposal renewal that has been restructured, and it will come as a tax reduction to our taxpayers. So no threats. I don't make threats. Never have. I deal with the facts and I present them accordingly.
The second part of my question was, conversely, if the propositions pass, will you be able to ease some of the furloughs?
No. If you heard me the first time, as it relates to furloughs for 2021, have my employees practically furloughed for 1 month out of that year. The budget that was passed for 2021 has those furloughs in, and also has the expectation of this millage proposal passing. So if it passes, it means that we will have $23 to $25 million that is already baked into the 2021 budget. If they do not pass, it creates a gap that we will have to fill. Does that make sense? Okay, so clearly we will not erase furloughs for 2021. We absolutely are working hard at that, and that is focusing on the CARES Act money that the state did receive, that the city didn't receive our fair share of. And it also speaks to the advocacy for another stimulus package, which is really not a matter of if, it's really when. And we cannot operate a city on an if. I have to go on what we know that we have. And that way, we have not entered into and will not enter into 2021 with a structural deficit. So ensuring that we remain fiscally prudent, so we will not be downgraded. So all of this matters. And so we're going to continue to move forward in that spirit and encourage people to have an understanding and an appreciation for the fiscal challenges that we're faced with as a city, and that is tied to the recovery of this city. And we're not alone in this. But because we came into this pandemic with a strong financial position, it is going to help us as we move through recovery should these propositions pass, and I hope that they do.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, there's been a lot of debate, for example, on Prop 2. Can you explain what would happen if, say, maybe that one failed and the other two passed? Are these all intertwined? Not all of them?
Sure, so we have restructured them in terms of that they're all intertwined. But if those voters choose to vote down Proposition 2, then the library actually stands to be impacted far greater with the lack of passage. So the best foot forward in a comprehensive manner is supporting the package as presented and as restructured, because with it, it will have a long-term impact on our recovery and sustainability of this city. Well, Proposition 2, that's just one. Okay, so I'm looking at the entire package, and then the entire package means an upward of 23 to 25 million. We will continue to be surgical in our approach. It is in no hope of mine or my team to move our people from a furlough to a layoff. And that's why we have been just so intentional about how we have approached this millage renewal, because it is a renewal, and we have approached it in the same manner that we took on our first renewal, which was tied to Audubon Institute. And with that renewal, if you recall, we restructured it so that we can do more in the city because the needs are great. So in 2021, based on the voters' approval of that, you will have Audubon, City Park, Nord, as well as Park and Parkways that will benefit from that restructuring, which on the front end was only Audubon. So this is not unprecedented. We have set the precedent for doing things better, being smarter, more efficient, and also understanding that in the midst of COVID-19, in a crisis that we have to manage through, the demands from our public, they do not decrease during a crisis, they actually increase. And we're wanting the tools necessary to ensure that we're able to manage through it and be fiscally sound and better because of it. That is the opportunity that we have, and that is the obligation that my administration has made to the citizens of this city. So thank you all so much for again coming out, bearing this cold weather, but it is refreshing, I have to say, because we're standing up for what's right, the future of this city. I'll take you off topic.
Sure.
Okay. And we'll let them, I want to let